And welcome everybody to week 6, day 1. We're going to continue our exploration of Scratch today, programming. And my daughter did this assignment over the summer. It's one of the sample assignments that MIT has put together. This PDF, though, appears to be from Australia, so I don't know. Seems like a pretty good guide, and it is a Creative Commons for classroom use. So I'm free to pirate it legally. So I have posted the PDF link onto the chat channel and pinned it. So when you guys do your homework assignment, which we'll be implementing this due Wednesday, you can just go through this slide by slide and follow the instructions in it, and you'll have kind of a fun little game at the end of it. If you are an advanced computer science person that has done programming before, I'd like for you to go a little bit above and beyond and do something more. The way that this maze thing works legally, not really. It is Creative Commons, so yeah, it's legal for me to copy this for classroom use, which this is a classroom. Okay, I see nothing wrong. Yeah, don't swat me. Okay. So this PDF starts off with a guide to Scratch, which we've kind of gone over already. The arrow keys are basically the same thing I talked about. But the neat thing about this assignment, and when my daughter did it over the summer, I was like, oh, that's a cool idea, which is you paint a maze all in one color, and then there's an if statement you can put in there that says, if you're touching that color, then, teleport back to the start. And so you just have to make sure you paint this thing all in one color. And hang on, we barely started. Oh, when are we recreating Undertale? Yeah, I mean, it's about the same quality graphics as what we've been doing, huh? If you're an experienced computer science person, by all means, go for it. But in order to do this, I need to talk about backgrounds, which I did not talk about last time. So let's come over here into Create. And so over here you got these things called backdrops. You start off with just Scratch. You can delete them if you want. And I'll add there's our psychedelic Butterfree. There's a fashion event going on in Pokemon Go right now, so there's like a fashion Butterfree going on. It's probably about the same level as that. So backdrops are the thing that appear behind the movable sprites over here. So if you click on the backdrop, you can go over to the thing over here, and you can load backdrops. They have a bunch pre-made in here. Let's see. Where would a butterfly be? Maybe on a tree. Okay. And so let me get my face out of the way. So basically you can set a backdrop, and normally this is just for decoration purposes, but what you can do is you can make your own backdrop, and then you can brush in different colors like that, and then you can have the code here saying, if you touch this color, then you lose a life. Okay. You're so used to code.org, you're lost in Scratch. That's funny. I have seen people make a ray tracer to do 3D ray tracing in Scratch, which is impressive, let's just say. I teach game development, and at the end of this semester in spring, like, we built a 2.5D game engine from scratch in about 2 hours. Kind of like what you'd have in the old Doom 2 era. But yeah, I don't even know where I'd begin with Scratch. It was ray tracing, and making actual 3D images. it was very slow. Like it was not fast. It took like 5 minutes to draw like a tiny little picture like that. It was still pretty impressive. So, okay, so yeah, so you can draw something like this on it. Okay, and down here. Probably a better way of doing it. So you can make a maze using blocks of color. So you can fill with one color, and then you can use the paintbrush tool and paintbrush in a maze, and this right here. Fill it in with blue. There we go. It's overtail now. And so you can make a little maze. Oops, still in blue. Undo. Red. So you can make a little maze. And then you can have a end zone in green. Oops, not you. Let's make a new one. So you can have an end zone in green. And then you can make it when they touch the green, it says you win. And you can build a maze, and you have to go through there. And as you follow the PDF, you'll see all the different steps. My daughter had to actually make multiple levels, so that when you cleared one level, you had to go on to the next level. So she made multiple backdrops. No. And get out of here. This would not suffice for a maze. Anyhow, you don't have to do that. Okay. So, yeah, this PDF here will show you what you need to do. That's the kind of the key thing there. So that if you touch a color, then something happens. And so what they do is they put this into a forever block. So it'll just sit there checking over and over again when the game's running. It starts off by moving it to the start location. Then if you ever touch the maze, color goes zzz, and you could probably play a sound like and teleport them back to the beginning. And then if you ever hit the end zone color, then print you win. Then you can go on to the next backdrop if you want to create multiple levels and things like that. Then we're going to talk about variables. Okay, so this is your next project. Yeah, that's what we do on Wednesday. And I think that's fair because, this was a summer school day project for 4th graders. So. Yeah, if you want to make it difficult, then add like velocity to the thing. So you have to navigate through all the things like flying at high speed. This Wednesday, yeah, like 2 days. Like 2 days. It's just all the blocks are in here. Like you don't have to think about it. Right? It's basically all here. Yeah, and then they made pickups, and yeah, my daughter did this as well. So you had to collect different things through the maze without hitting the walls, and then get to the end. And yeah, so let's not even do that much. Maybe let's just go through step 6. Okay, out of step 10, just step 6, so that you got lives. If you touch the walls 3 times, you're dead. Okay, because that'll teach you about variables in Scratch. All right, so let's go back into Scratch. Great. Okay, so let's talk about all the elements of computer science one more time. There are conditionals, which are these things here, which say if you do one thing, if something's true, do it, otherwise do something else. This ties in what we've been talking about this semester with like philosophy and logic and stuff like that. So when the thing is clicked, if And then you can stick a lot of things into here. If we're touching a color, if some color is touching some other color, if we're touching the mouse. If a certain key is pressed down. Let's see. Let's do if scratch is touching the mouse pointer. Then rotate. Okay. So oops. Yeah. Okay, that's not going to work very well. Because I have to click on it. Wait. 2 seconds. There we go. There. Okay. So when I hit run, it waits for 2 seconds, then it checks to see if scratch is touching the mouse pointer. If it is, it rotates a little bit. Okay. All right. What was confusing, Jocelyn? Need a forever loop? Yeah, if you want it to keep going, right? So do a forever loop here, and then now when we run it, it's going to sit there spinning forever, and if I move the mouse over, it'll start spinning. I take it off, it stops spinning. Kind of cool. Okay. You spin me right around, baby, right around. Like a record, baby, right around, around, around. Okay. So duplicate ourself. Yeah, so there's a lot of things you do with it. So you got your conditionals, which are these things. If something is true, then execute what's inside. If it's not true, then don't. Or you can say if it's not true, then let's do this. So if we're touching the mouse pointer, spin 15 degrees to the right. If we're not touching it, then we will turn 15 degrees to the left. So we run it, and waits 2 seconds, and then it starts spinning. If I move it over, it spins the other way. Take it off, put it on, take it off, put it on. Kind of cool. Kind of fun. Gonna make a fidget spinner. I'm surprised. It feels so good. It's funny. Can you make it spin faster by changing the degree? Yeah. Why don't we make a variable for that? Okay. So let's talk about variables. We got our loops. We got our branches. Let's talk about variables. So let's make a variable called for the sprite only. Let's call it spin rate. And then we pull spin rate out, but we can't. It doesn't like kind of go into these things here, but anywhere like there's a round thing, like we can kind of stick it in there. So the spin rate, I'm gonna put into there. I'm gonna put into there, and spin rate is 0 by default. So what we can do is you can see it's also up here. You can do this for like scores and things like that. So like as you're going through your maze, you can like have a score, and every time you collect a token, you can increase some variable. I'll show you how to do that in a second. But first of all, let's see how you can mess with the variable. So we can set my spin rate to 15. Like that. And then when we run it, also you can see it's 15 here. It's working the same as before. And then I can make it so that when when I hit the up arrow, then we will change spin rate by 15. So every time I hit the up arrow, it'll spin faster. And every time I hit down arrow, then we will change spin rate by -15. Okay. So it starts off, it's spinning, and then I hit up arrow, it spins faster, spins faster, spins faster, down arrow, down arrow, down arrow, down arrow, up arrow, down arrow, up arrow, down arrow. Okay. Spin rate's now 405. But if I run it again, you see how it's going to reset the spin rate to 15. Motion sickness time. Is this all in the PDF too? The PDF has everything you need to know on it. Yeah, how to make a variable and set variables and change variables. Yeah. If you hide the variable spin rate, then it doesn't appear up on the top here anymore. That's what you want. I don't know. At least when you're writing it, it's better to just show it, you know, so you can kind of see what's going on. No, not my variable spin rate. There we go. All right, so what else is important? The backdrop. Yeah, here we go. So you can switch backdrops. So like we could add a new backdrop. Say like when the left arrow is pressed, we can go to the next backdrop. That'll work. It's got backdrop number 1 right now, and I guess we will just surprise me. There you go. So he's doing flips on the basketball court. Okay. Is that not? Is that not making a new backdrop? It's just replacing the old one. Yeah, no. What you need to do on Scratch is you need to actually reset everything, like when you hit the green arrow. See, why is it not showing? So the other backdrops are there. It's just not showing. Okay, there we go. All right. Let's go to view. Okay. And then I can hit left arrow and it will cycle through the different backdrops. Okay. All right. And then there. So if you want Scratch to randomly move around, I'm saying forever glide to a random position. Okay, and so I added that to my daughter's maze. I made objects that are of the color that kill you sort of fly around randomly, and so you have to navigate through the maze while these random killer blocks are kind of dodging, kind of zigzagging around the course. You kind of have to keep your distance from them. So you can do this to make life a little more interesting for you. Okay. I thought you were talking about it in real life. Yeah, because when it's a static maze, you can just very carefully pick your way through it to get to the end. But if you just make a new sprite, and you make the new sprite, and let's see here. In the color of the thing of the color of the maze that kills you, resize it so it's a little smaller. Then all you have to do for its code is say event when clicked motion glide to a random position, and you can adjust how long it takes so it's not quite as fast, right? So, and it will do that once, so we have to put this into a forever loop. So forever move randomly, and then let me get my face out of the way here, so you can see that you can just drop a couple of these things on there, and basically they'll just sort of meander around the maze, and you can adjust the speed of them like that. And so as you're trying to go through this purple maze, your character is set to die if it ever touches purple. And so by having purple objects on the map like this, now all of a sudden it's a game, right? It's not a game when everything's static, right? So yeah, you can make fun little games in Scratch very easily like this. Usually I have students do like Space Invaders and things like that, which is kind of fun too. How would you do that, you ask? Well, let's come back over here, and so if touching color purple, what color are you? 72, 60, 100. Okay. There. That's the easy way of doing it. Use the eyedropper. Okay, so if we ever touch that, then rather than spinning, and we don't need an else on this one. So basically, if we want to make like a combat game, if we ever touch purple, we die. So we don't need spin rate anymore. Instead, what we can have for our variable is something called lives, and this is what is in the PDF called this lives. And when we start the game, we will set our lives to 3. And then, yeah, we definitely want to show the variable as well. And then we're going to go forever and say if we ever touch purple, then variable's lives decreases by 1. Okay. And so let's leave the rest of this stuff over here. And we don't need you anymore. And this will just be what we had before, which was we'll set this to what we had before, where we can use the arrow keys to control Scratch. Got a long week ahead. You woke up at 5 a.m. for no apparent reason. Yeah. I hear you. So, we'll just put the motion back in there. Change X by 10. So we need one for right arrow too. So when the right arrow key is pressed, X will increase by 10. Change X, yeah. Okay. When left arrow is pressed, X decreases by 10. When up arrow is pressed, Y goes up. When down arrow is pressed, Y goes down. And so now if we do this, we can now move around. This guy here will spawn a couple clones of himself. You're in midterms week? That is true. That's true. This is all pretty easy. If a fourth grader can do it, you guys can do it. You're all smart college students. Create a clone of myself. And how many clones should we make? 5. Okay. And these aren't moving. Okay. So when I start as a clone, and there we go. So it starts off cloning itself 5 times. Each of the clones goes into a forever loop, and then when you stop it, the clones all vanish and just the original remains. Okay. So kind of a cool looking effect, right? And then what we need to do is make it so that Scratch will die if he hits a clone. Oh, it's already on there. Okay. But let's see. Negative 30 lives. We gotta add in like an invulnerability timer. But whatever. It's getting wrecked right now. Okay. So if forever for that, and then we need to say if the number of lives is less than 0, then do a game over. Okay. And maybe we'll change the number of lives by like negative 0.1, and then that'll give him like 3 seconds of life, I guess. We can touch things. Okay. So now we need to say if his lives is less than 0, game over. Okay. He already dead stuff. That's funny. Can you change your moving rate? Right now it's yeah, sort of. So it's moving to a random position, and the speed is actually based on how far it needs to move. So if you want him to go faster, then you can do something like this. You can see some of them are still not moving that fast because it just depends on how far away the so that one's actually this one. So this is hard mode right now. This is midterms week. Okay. Yeah, so you can adjust the speed that way on it. Okay. Is there a study guide for the midterm? Yeah, we'll go over the midterm on Wednesday, but the study guide is just look at the old quizzes. The quizzes, the quiz questions you've done before are the questions you're going to have on the midterm. Okay. So that's it. No surprises. Okay. You'll do fine, I'm sure. Okay. The exact same. I mean, not like the exact questions. You know, like I'm not going to just copy paste them. That would be kind of ridiculous. No, the same. You know, same kinds of questions, but not exactly the same questions. Yeah. Same topics being discussed. You know, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that on Wednesday. His midterms are the hardest. Thanks, Mason. Mason was the first president of the ACM here, and the midterms would be easier, Mason, if you didn't sleep through them. I called up Mason. He's like, "Hello." I'm like, "Hey, Mason, how you doing?" He's like, good. Yeah, I'm sorry I slept in." I'm like, "There's a midterm today, right?" He's like, "What?" Yeah, it's a midterm today. Oh, yeah, I'll come in. All right. That's some quality. I put them on speakers so the whole class could hear it. Yeah, that's quality education right there. That's how you know your professor's dedicated. Okay, so anyhow, we've got here this backdrop, and okay, so when the flag is clicked, let's set the backdrop. I wish there was like a search or something here. So looks. So when we start the game, we're going to switch the backdrop to Castles 1. And then if we ever die, then we're going to switch the backdrop to the basketball court. Surprised me. It's like a high school or something. Or convention center. Yeah. Yeah, fine. You dead. There you go. Okay. Alright, so the name of this backdrop is Game Over. And again, I don't know why it's not showing all the backdrops over here. It's really odd. Yeah, it just created a bunch of them, didn't it? Delete you, delete you, delete you, delete you, delete you, and delete the basketball court. Okay, so we'll start off with the castle. And so we're going to play the game in front of the castle, and when we die, it's game over. Okay. Currently I have no way of winning. All right, only losing. So if... Okay, so if... Lives... And so under the green colors, you can have comparisons. And so we can say if the number of lives is less than 0, MS Paint vibes, yeah. Will there be any practice quiz? We're going to have access to the last quizzes. You should have access to all of them. If you don't, just let me know. All of them should have... you can review them on it. Okay, after several weeks of the broken arm. Yeah, okay. So, okay. So if lives is less, than 0, then we will switch the backdrop to game over. Okay. Do you guys understand what's happening here? So when we start the game, we set our lives to 3. We switch the backdrop to castle. We start playing the game, and then in a spinning loop, if we're ever touching purple, it slowly drains our life. And if we ever hit lives less than 0, then it switches the backdrop to game over, and we should probably stop the game at that point as well. Play sound. Record. Game over. Game over. Yep. Game over, place on, and then stop. Let's try this. Oh. Let's try that
again. Game over.
Okay. Yeah, that's a game right there. So, I guess hide as well. And when we start running the game, we have to hit show. So when we die, it's going to hide the cat, so it just says game. It just says you dead. Okay. So let me play the game and no.
Game over.
Okay. The hide should probably be up here. There. There you go. Do you want to reduce the difficulty? I hate it when games ask me that. It seems like you're struggling here. Do you want to reduce the difficulty to beginner mode? Make the cat go faster? Sure. God of War, I think, did that. It's like, are you serious, dude? Leave me alone. Mocking me. You mock my pain. Life is pain, princess. Okay. So what else can we do? We can add Scratch being able to shoot things, right? So maybe if we can kill the purple blocks or something, bombs. We see you're having a hard time. Perhaps you should go to the training ground. Okay. Loser, little noob. Yeah. Yeah, or if you're playing a mobile game, would you like to buy more power crystals? Just $5 for. Like I don't mind losing, but like when you mock me when I lose, like that's when you make me want to like stop playing your game. You know what I'm saying? Easy mode and Joe baby. Yeah. I'm playing Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous right now on normal difficulty, which you don't get any achievements really for doing it. Like you get the basic achievements like completing each chapter of the game, but like for any of the bosses you kill, like you don't get achievements because you're not actually playing on like the real difficulty. So like there's Pathfinder core rules, and then 2 ticks down from that is normal difficulty, and I'm just like it's the recommended difficulty for the game, but you just don't get any achievements for it because you're not playing on, you know, the core rules difficulty or whatever it is, which would be fine, except on the core rules your characters move like at a quarter of the normal speed, and so you're just like walking like this, and I'm just like, no, ain't nobody got time for that. So I don't care about the achievements. Let me walk at full speed, please. Thank you. Cuphead, yeah. Okay. So let's make Scratch shoot. So how should we do this? Let's maybe have it always pointing towards the mouse pointer. Yeah, so I can.
Game over.
Dang, I got wrecked on that one. Oh, this is a axe. Look at this. Can't get me now. Can't get me now. All right, cool. All right, so yeah, so I'm always gonna have it pointing towards the mouse pointer, so it'll rotate. Which looks kind of cool, you know. And then I'll make it so that like when I click, I'll make it so like when I click, I shoot a projectile. Okay. So a click would be under events, and let's see here. Where is mouse click? That's when the sprite is clicked. have to use. If mouse down, I'll just use space to shoot then. So when the space key is pressed, Carnage just said a yeah. When the space key is pressed, then we're going to make a projectile. Okay. So stop. There we go. So I want the projectile to come out in the direction that the mouse is facing. Let's see here. Let's make a new sprite. And what do you think a good projectile? Cheesy puffs. What do you think a good projectile shot is? Egg. Okay. I'll just make my own. Paint, and I'll just use square. I'll just make it red. Just make a little red projectile like that. Okay. A little red laser beam. Okay. And this one will be called laser. And okay. So when the space key is pressed, consume the child. Jeez. Kids are fun. I didn't like kids when I was a kid, but now that I've had a kid, like, not too bad. It's like having a pet, you know? It's like Hollywood especially like makes it look like kids are just like these horrible animals, and it's just like if you're able to have a dog, you know, and like a dog pees everywhere, like if that doesn't bug you too much, like kids learn to not pee on the ground also, hopefully, if you raise them right. Yeah. And they can talk, it's more fun than a dog. You play catch with them. I used to throw a ball for my daughter, and she'd run over and grab it and bring it back to me, and I'd throw it for her. It's great. All the same skills apply. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, what do you think football is, right? You're just playing catch with them, So. All right. Control. Let's see here. I thought I'd change your name. Costume. Did I change your name? No. Over here. Laser beam. Okay. This one is enemy. Okay, so let's see here. Okay. So create a clone of the laser and yeah, that's fine. And then for laser, when I start as a clone, then repeat. $30 times, we're going to move towards the mouse. How about that? So when you shoot a laser, it'll be like a homing laser or something like that. Sounds kind of fun. Point towards the mouse pointer and glide towards the mouse pointer. And so we'll do that for like 5 seconds. Okay. And then for the enemies, if they ever touch the laser, then they die. Okay, so create clones, forever glide. Oh, Because it's not going to interrupt that. Because if it touches them, while they're moving, it's not gonna actually kill them. It'll only check in between the movements. So let's see here. Let's do this. When I receive, it's a broadcast. I would kill all of them. How about we shoot him with our mouse by clicking it? I mean, we could do that, right? That'd be pretty easy. When the sprite is clicked, then delete me, I guess. I mean, that works, right?
Game over.
Dang. This guy's wrecked me.
Game over.
I'm trying to use WASD.
Game over.
And I say a pretty... Thank you. Yeah, so, yeah. Yeah, there's all sorts of things you can do like that. Let's see. Why are you not running? Start a clone.
Game over.
Dang. It's a hard game. Okay, anyway. So that'll give you some ideas. So you can switch, you can rotate. So what did we talk about today? The important parts, you can rotate the backgrounds to do like game over screens, things like that. Variables, you can make a variable here under the variable tabs. Here I have lives, and you can show the variables up top, so you can have scores and things like that. You can have events, you can have touching colors as your primary logic. It's like, for your assignment, you're going to make a maze out of a single color, and then if your player character ever touches that color, he dies, or she dies, or it dies. I don't know what scratch is. Mouse spam click test. Yeah, basically, you're trying to. It's actually surprisingly hard. I could probably. Well, we're basically out of time, but I could probably hide at the bottom of the screen. Just click at everything that way. But kind of what I want to do is make the lasers like kind of home in on the targets and stuff like that. But we're out of time. So you can make a variable, and then you can read the values of the variables. You can like this by putting them inside of a operator, a control block. You can compare the value of a variable with a number. And you can do ands and ors and nots like we did with our logic and truth tables. And look, it all ties together. It's amazing. And then these things can be put inside of if statements so that you can say if lives is less than 0, then game over. Typically you'll have like some sort of forever loop running on each of the things. And yeah. So that's today. So you can make a variable, you can read it, you can write it, compare it, toss them inside of control blocks, toss them inside of loops, and the PDF here has the complete program for everything. So you can just follow the guide if you want. What I'm going to do is on Canvas have on the responses there you can say if you did something cool beyond like just following the pre-made game, right? So basically what you're going to do is you're going to go through step 1 through step 6, okay? And if you more than that, then just on Canvas just say, hey, I did X, Y, and Z. I added a musical soundtrack. I made laser homing projectiles, like whatever, and then I'll give you extra credit for it. So just have fun with it. If you're an advanced computer science person, then impress me with your mad coding skills. And if it's all scary and overwhelming, the good news is the answer is right here. All you have to do is literally just copy it into Scratch. And if you still have trouble with it, just ask on the help center. This might be a little... Nah, the resolutions, you should be able to do this. Yeah. I was gonna say it looked a little pixelated, but it's fine. Okay. Where is the PDF? It is. It'll be on Canvas, but I have put it up on the Discord and pinned it, so you can either get it from there, or when I put up this assignment in about, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, the link will be on that as well. So thank you to the Australians that put this together. I appreciate it. The guide is nice. I like it. Creative Commons is one of the things that I really like about our modern society, is that there's the ability to release things into the Creative Commons, and it's a way for people to share things and help each other out and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. Aaron Schwartz, one of the founders of Reddit, was involved in the creation of Creative Commons. Yeah. So that's it for today. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. We'll go over the midterm then. But again, if you want to prep, just look at the old quizzes, and if any of the quiz questions aren't available, just message me and I'll make sure that they're all available for you. Okay. All right. See you all.